Yeah, we need a shovel. Look, here's a rubber band that made it.
Stress.
Plastic is washed up on the beaches now, and it's for fish and turtles to eat.
For a Hawaiian person, when you talk about the debris, it's a very bad situation.
This is Hawaii. Hawaii's supposed to be beautiful, and here we are. It is just covered with plastic.
They're not things that the Hawaiians or the people who live here have disposed of. These are things that have been circling in the Pacific maybe for years.
More trash than we know what to do with.
It affects us all. It's going to hurt everybody that receives this debris.
This threat, this entanglement threat, the marine debris threat, is not a local threat necessarily. It's a global threat. It's big.
It's a global problem, and we need some global action and global help.
The great thing about this movement is that there is something all of us can do about it.
The world's oceans, the lifeblood of our planet. A place of majestic beauty, wonder, nourishment, and endless fun.
My passion for being in the ocean is really my life, and it's a big part of my own happiness. And that water, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, it's just a place of solitude, a place of peaceful reflection on your own life.
One of the reasons I live in Hawaii is because of windsurfing. It's really a beautiful sport.
I'm in the water every single day, mainly because it's a profession, and it also creates a lot of happiness in my life.
For me, it's my escape from reality, basically. The reality of the day-to-day life, and it just kind of washes you clean. You can get away and you can start just being in the moment and just flowing with the ocean, and it's so important to have that.
I have family here. I want my kid to grow up like in a nice place, not a place full of trash.
You know, if we can make a small difference here, it just spreads out everywhere. And on an island, I think you can really see the difference really quickly.
In the middle of the Pacific Ocean lies the Hawaiian Islands, teeming with rare and endangered aquatic life, and home to a culture and people that are deeply connected and bound to the sea.
As a Hawaiian, we have what you might say some mana, or some power within ourselves that's fueled or energize or motivate or make us to know that we're responsible. So the first people we talk about is Napo'e Olani, the people of the heaven, Napo'e Onoa, which is the people of the land, and Napo'e Moana, the people of the sea. We're one big family.
With marine entanglements recorded from the northwest atolls all the way to the south point of the Big Island of Hawaii, island residents and the scientific community are fully aware that the Hawaiian archipelago sits on the front line of this epidemic.
For the older people, they saw how it was before and how it's progressing now. You know, we know sooner or later it's going to be just good without the show.
It is angering. You see glass all around. You see like beer bottles, cigarette butts. People just don't appreciate the land, and pretty soon everyone's going to regret it because we're not going to have this anymore.
The sad part is that we don't know all the effects on Hawaii that marine debris has.
This is tragic. You know, people don't want to think of Hawaii with its pristine beaches being covered by plastic, but this is happening around the world.
Much like we look back on past generations and sort of mock some of the great follies that they've done and the ignorances they have, I believe that future generations will look back at us and say, this was the plastic age. And can you imagine that someone used to take a plastic bag or a plastic item that could last hundreds of years, and they used it for about 10 minutes to get some food from the store to their house? And they're just going to be baffled and confused how we could be so ignorant.
Our society is just a throwaway society, and it's just out of control.
This is our home. It's one of the most beautiful and amazing places on the face of the earth, and we should take care of it.
We've had sperm whales that washed up ashore, and in the necropsy, that's like the autopsy of the animal. The gut has been full of plastic debris.
My families are dying. My family is not dying of a natural cause. My family are dying of our cause, which is the human impact cause.
More than 1 million seabirds and more than 100,000 marine mammals die each year due to ingestion and entanglement in plastics. But it's also become a major human health issue.
Studies that have shown that animals such as mussels, little bivalve shellfish that make their living filtering the water, incorporate those plastic into their tissues and even inside their cells. It's just scary to think that all sorts of organisms, including humans, may be incorporating tiny plastic molecules and particles into their bodies.
If the fish that you were eating in Hawai'i or whatever that you're eating ate plastic, that plastic is inside them, all the toxins are transferred, and you're eating the plastic. So essentially, that's really not a good thing.
Hawaii's proximity to the convergent zone of the North Pacific Gyre places these fragile islands in the direct path of what scientists now call the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
The notion in the media has been this garbage island. Of course, garbage island does not exist. I like to say that the problem of the garbage patch is simultaneously not nearly as bad and much worse than people, I think, realize. It's not nearly as bad because it's not a giant floating island, but it's much worse because it's enough trash for an island, but it's spread over a huge area. It's very dilute. So dilute that it's really going to be difficult to clean them up.
And sometimes the birds eat that, little bits of plastic.
These are all albatross chicks. What happens is when the birds hatch, one of the parent goes out and flies looking for food, and they search over this vast area of the Pacific. And what they come back with is a belly full of plastic bottle caps and toothbrushes and cigarette lighters and combs and magic markers and syringes and all of our plastic junk. And they feed that to their babies.
Estimated to be twice the size of Texas, the garbage patch continues to grow as more plastic debris enters the ocean.
When I see trash on the beach, I feel bad for the island because I feel like it's being disrespected, and I feel like the people aren't doing their job in helping it, keeping it clean, because this is our home, it's all we have.
We really need to feel these things, and if we can feel them deeply, even if the feelings aren't comfortable, then those are the feelings that will turn into the fuel that can drive passionate action.
We came to Waihe'e because we were helping picking up all the trash and the pollution, and we're learning more about what's in the water and what happens to like the sea animals and the sea life when they eat the trash and everything, and they can die from it.
On the island of Kaho'olawe, now a protected Hawai'i state reserve, the battle to free the island from mountains of plastic waste has begun.
Basically take about 10 tons off the beach today.
But we have a lot of foreign writing on a lot of the plastic that we do get here. A lot of the bottles have either Japanese or Korean or Taiwanese or Chinese writing on those plastic crates. It's a worldwide issue.
Where do you think we would have found this? In a beach in the middle of nowhere? It's a bowling ball.
And the stuff constantly comes in. So our one cleanup a year doesn't even make a dent in it. So that was the goal of this whole project, is to actually clean the beach and then do regular maintenance after that.
Every year when we do cleanups, it gets a little bit less and less trash. You know, all the big stuff gets starting to get taken away, and you know, the beaches look cleaner.
At the southern point of the island of Hawai'i, in the district of Ka'u, the Hawaii Wildlife Fund continues regular beach cleanups.
We've been hosting beach cleanups at Camilo and the surrounding 10 miles of coastline since 2003, and we've removed over 145 U.S. tons of rubbish.
The most interesting thing I found was toothbrushes and clothes hangers.
What's your minimal size?
I guess I'm just going for everything today, because everything's pretty small around here.
People come here and they help out for their Saturday, and they realize how much of the rubbish that they're finding here are commonly used throwaway household items.
when you are at a party or something and somebody's throwing out that plastic plate or whatever it is, you start to realize, oh my gosh, this is where it's going to end up one day if you're not careful.
Just thick. I could dig right here. I could dig, keep digging and still just be pulling out plastic.
Their tireless efforts are now more important than ever, as the Ka'u coast is now home to the endangered monk seal that have come here searching for a safe refuge. This coastline is also one of the last remaining nesting sites for the rare honu'ea, the hawksbill sea turtle, that needs clean, remote, sandy beaches for their hatchlings.
When you're able to come down here with large groups of people, it's inspiring. And like small groups of people can make a difference. We come down and the beach looks filthy and we leave and it looks a lot better.
A lot of environmental problems we think we're kind of helpless, but this is one issue that we can all individually and collectively make a huge difference.
We just started talking about local things that we could do to start preventing plastic pollution from getting in the ocean, and one of the most obvious is why don't we just put in something to stop it out of the stormwater areas before it gets to the ocean. We also have another part of the study where we want to know where this trash that we stopped from getting to the ocean would have gone. So we're releasing wooden drifters below the booms and charting the progress of those drifters. And so far it's been fascinating. Trash that ends up in Hilo Bay, represented by our drifters, has now been found on 3 different other islands, Maui, Kaho'olawe, and Lanai. We're not only stopping it, but we're also hoping to publicize some of our results and say these are the types of items that we find: plastic bags, plastic bottles that come, cigarette butts. Some people say, well, you don't need to ban plastic bags. There's already littering laws. Well, I can tell you on the basis of these booms that they're not working. Tons of plastic bags are getting to the ocean.
As the waves of trash continue to wash ashore, Hawaii's fate and the health of our oceans lies in the hands of millions of people across the planet, and the choices we make every day.
Don't buy bottled water, you don't need to, the water here is fine.
Get a reusable container that holds water and just fill it up.
We all use plastics, we all dump it somewhere, and a lot of it unfortunately ends up out in the ocean. Anytime litter's thrown out in the street, it goes into the storm drain and right out into the big Pacific there.
It was an awakening for me to realize how much, just personally, I consumed. The average American goes through about 400 to 500 single-use plastic bags a year and over 170 single-use water bottles. And so individually, I could make a huge difference by just cutting that off.
Finding those cases of marine debris, maybe it's just a bunch of net floating in the water, letting us know about it so we can go out and collect it, get it out of the water, reduce the threat in that regard. Or maybe it's gear on a whale. Reporting that. Again, they're whales, you would think, 45-foot humpback whale, you think, oh, it'd be easy to find an entangled whale. It is not.
Every little thing has an effect on the ecosystem here, so I think all the athletes joining together and being conscious about our playground and our livelihood and everything we do out here, and has been a real benefit. So it's been pretty solid.
There is a solution as long as all of us do our part and talk about it to our friends and family. I think that there's hope.
We picked up so much garbage today, and there's still a lot more. So come help us.